With just less than 72 hours to go before the U.S. general election, Democratic and Republican candidates Joe Biden and Donald Trump traveled to the central states to seek votes from citizens who did not show up in the last election. Joe Biden has traveled to Iowa and Trump has traveled to Minnesota. Joe Biden, polled as the leader of this year's competition, left for Iowa on Friday, October 30, the state that preferred Donald Trump to Hillary Clinton in 2016 with a 10% difference. Even during his first intra-party race in Iowa, Biden failed to compete with Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren, the other Democratic candidates in Iowa, and this led to major defeat in this state. Subscribe our YouTube channel to watch the rest of this video and more. At the same time, Donald Trump has traveled to Minnesota to show that he hopes to attract the state, which in 2016 narrowly welcomed Clinton. Minnesota, the city of Minneapolis that has been the center of protest over police violence and the Black Lives Matter movement for the past 6 months since the death of George Floyd, has traditionally voted for Democratic candidates. Joe Biden, who has restricted state travel since the outbreak of the coronavirus and has not held large rallies like Trump, has made several trips in the days leading up to Election Day. And in addition to Iowa, he traveled to Wisconsin and Minnesota on Friday to mark the busiest day of his campaign. Biden, who leads the polls by about 10 points nationally, is only about 5% or less behind Trump in competitive and sensitive states such as Florida, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, making it very difficult to predict the final outcome of this year's election. On Friday, October 30, it was reported that 85 million Americans had already cast their ballots by mail or at polling stations. This is a new record for early voting in the United States for the past 110 years, and turnout is expected to be high enough to break the 1908 record. According to the same reports, out of the 85 million votes, 55 million people voted by the post. Joe Biden spoke for 22 minutes in Minnesota on Friday at a rally attended by everyone because of the corona, but the continuous honking of Donald Trump's car repeatedly interrupted his speech. "You know why they do not want to hear my voice?" he trumpeted in response to the protest. "Because they are used to hearing the voice of a president who never says anything. They are used to not hearing anything." Once again, when he talked about the need for a mask, he was confronted with the constant trumpeting of Trump supporters, saying this is not a political statement, like the trumpeting of those outcasts. Biden's remarks raised the horns of this opponent. Donald Trump has raised the white flag of surrender, but neither the people nor I will surrender, Biden said, turning his rival Donald Trump's campaign against corona into his main campaign. Biden's remarkable financial ability, which is almost double that of Trump, has allowed him to expand even in states such as Iowa and Georgia, the two states that have not voted for Democratic candidates since 1992 when Bill Clinton voted. With just less than 72 hours to go until the start of Election Day across the United States, Democrats are even hoping for victory in Texas, a state that has not pleased Democrats since voting for Jimmy Carter in 1976. If Republicans lose the Texas election to Democrats, they will have to move the structural change to win more votes in American society in order to survive in future political contests. Polls underestimate the distance between Donald Trump and Joe Biden in Texas. So far, 9 million people in Texas have participated in early voting, which is more than the total number of participants in the state in 2016. With 2 days left until the U.S. presidential election on Tuesday, November 3, the premature turnout in the election exceeded 60% of the 2016 presidential election. According to Reuters, more than 20 million people who cast their ballots or posted their ballots by Friday did not vote in the 2016 presidential election. According to a global Fox News poll, Joe Biden is still ahead of Donald Trump, but that gap has narrowed slightly to 8%. According to the report, the difference between the two U.S. presidential candidates in early October was 10%. According to the poll, Biden is ahead of Donald Trump by 52% to 44% nationally. 3 weeks ago, the difference was 53% to 43%. According to Bloomberg News, despite an unprecedented record of early ballots across the United States, senior campaign advisors Joe Biden have expressed concern about the turnout of African Americans and Latins in early voting. According to the report, 2/3 of Latins in Arizona who have registered to vote have not yet voted. In Florida, half of Latins and blacks have not yet cast their ballots, but more than half of white voters have cast their ballots.